Today we're talking about building a culture of responsible AI use among your engineering teams. My name is Rizel Scarlett. I'm the tech lead of open source developer relations at Block. Block is the company responsible for Cash App and Square and Afterpay and Tidal. But we also built an open source AI agent called Goose, and I am focused on the open source side, helping engineers adopt Goose and understand how to use it. But I also do a lot of cross collaboration with our internal team that's helping our internal engineers adopt AI effectively. A year ago, I wasn't doing any of this. I was working on identity and decentralized systems, and we had a little bit of a reorg. My team got moved, and my manager got tapped on to lead AI adoption. She's amazing. Angie Jones, if you don't know her, look her up. But suddenly, we were really responsible for helping Block's engineering org figure out how to work with AI. And we were really new to this, as everyone else is. Like, this is a new age. Um, and we made a lot of mistakes. We this is something we're still doing. But we learned a ton. And I wanted to share what I think worked because I think many organizations are kind of getting this wrong. I really didn't want to be part of or within an organization where I was making this particular mistake. I keep seeing organizations treat AI adoption as compliance. They're basically saying you must use AI tools now. And that framing to me is really a disaster. Not just because of how it sounds, but because of the context that engineers are currently living in. We see the headlines, right? You guys see it. Um, there's headlines about companies replacing developers with AI or AI CEOs or whatever, CEOs in general. And they're saying like predictions like, oh, in 3 years, we won't even need engineers or junior engineers or whatever. AI agents are just going to be coding for us, or white collar jobs might be gone. And so there's this genuine looming fear in the industry that like maybe my skills won't matter. So when your leadership says you must adopt AI, engineers are not hearing, oh, here's a useful tool that you can use. They're hearing confirmation of that threat that they've been seeing in headlines. They're like, oh my God, it's real. And that produces three reactions. You have some engineers become resistant, some of them recklessly adopt it, and then some of them become really jaded. The resistance ones are like, I don't want to be replaced, so I'm going to avoid this as long as possible. They're feeling insecure and defensive, and that's stopping them from really adopting tools that might actually help them. Then you have the people that like adopt it and they're like, fine, I'll use it. Look how fast I'm shipping. And these are what people are calling vibe coders, and they're producing AI slop. Um, they're just using AI because they were told to, but not because they really understand how. And that AI slop is introducing security vulnerabilities, spaghetti code that's really hard to maintain. And like in the end, that's really bad for your business and the team. That's really not sustainable at all. And then you have the people that become jaded. They're seeing the garbage, the AI slop that's being produced. They've reviewed enough AI slop that they've written off using AI entirely to code. I want to say though, it's really not wrong that they're like it's not like weird that they are like skeptical or irrational because they are legitimately reading AI slop. They're legitimately seeing what it's produced. And then the resistant engineers, they've legitimately gone through hype cycles. They've watched them come and go where people say like, "Oh, you should be adopting this." And then like it doesn't really come to be. Like maybe like crypto and blockchain and web3, people were at one point acting like it's going to be the best thing ever, and then it ended up maybe not being as popular as we had initially predicted. So they're really reacting in what I think is a realistic way. So now the question isn't really how do we get all our engineers to use AI? It's how do you build a culture where engineers actually want to use AI and have the judgment to use it well. It's not just like, oh, like you guys have to use it. It's like let's make them want to use it, right? But before we go into my tactics that I've had and I've observed, I want to talk about what responsible AI use for engineer even means. Um, First off, you need to be able to understand the code. It shouldn't just work, right? 6 months from now, you or your teammate will be able to debug it. You're intentional about your workflow. You know when to use AI, which tool to use, how to approach it. You follow best security practices. You're not doing prompt injection or making API keys get exposed, which we've seen happen. And you've properly validated and testing it, and you're building your skills. You're not just creating dependencies where AI is now making you helpless, right? So, how do we get the teams to get there, right? I want to show you guys this alternative: culture over compliance. So, at Block, we didn't officially say it in this way, but from what I've been like observing, what we ended up doing, just taking a reflective look on the year 2025 at Block, we've approached this in two phases. Phase one was earning interest, and phase two was building judgment. So when I talk about earning interest, you can't teach good habits to people who don't want to be in the room. So we've decided, hey, let's make it fun, let's make it inspirational, and let's make it genuinely useful so that they'll be like, yeah, I'm bought into this. And then we have phase two, which is about building judgment. Um, that's where we have interest without discernment ends up producing those reckless adopters that I've talked about. So in this phase, we've resolved this by being flexible about tools, setting an example, and establishing best practices. Let's go through each of them. So I think making it fun, this is the first practice of phase one. I think this is where I shine, and this is where I've been responsible for. So I haven't done all the every single step. That's been other members of my team, especially my manager, Angie Jones. But I think I shine at this part because I really believe that coding and your work should be fun. It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be dry. So I host a session called the Great Goose Off. I bring two people on and they kind of use Goose and battle it out against each other to like build these crazy like things that I tell them. Like I might tell them like build a login form that doesn't work, or build a game that you can like build a snake game that you can control with your gestures, you detects emotions or something like that. And that's like a YouTube live stream. And I've also done another game show called Battle of the Bots, where they don't just have to use Goose. It's pretty similar, but they don't just have to use Goose. They can use Cursor or Claude Code or AMP or whatever it is. And these competitions are really fun for people where they get to experiment with AI in low stake environments. Um, we also have this thing that's coming in December called Admin of AI, which is similar to Admin of Code, where you're kind of using AI to solve these different challenges. And it brings in a gamification aspect to these daily challenges for folks, making learning really just feel like play. Right? People don't even realize they're learning how to use AI. They're learning how to prompt. They're learning how to navigate these tools, but in a fun way. And again, fun works because it's low stakes experimentation. It lets people figure out what AI is actually good at before they're under the pressure to ship. Because maybe you have 2 days to put something out. You don't have time to be trying out AI and vibe coding anything. Practice two is making it inspirational. We have a couple Slack channels called like Goose Inspiration, Vibe Coding, where engineers share what they're building. It can be fun, silly stuff. They're like, oh, I built this cool game. And then engineers are like, wait a minute, I didn't even consider building something like that. And then we have more like still inspirational but serious channels like RPI, where engineers are talking about, oh, I just built like a Terraform generation or bug tracking automation. And that really makes engineers say, like, wait, if my teammates doing that, I could do it too. I didn't know this was possible with AI agents. And inspiration spreads faster than mandates, I think personally. Seeing real use cases helps people calibrate. They start to understand where AI shines and where it might struggle a little bit. Let's make it genuinely useful. Okay, right? A lot of people tell me, Rizel, your great Goose Off's really fun. It attracts me to Goose, but can it actually do anything? So this is where I think my manager, Angie Jones, really shines at implementing, making it genuinely useful. Um, AI has solves real problems within our company, and we've stood up ways to let that be known. We have the AI champions, which are like individuals across various engineering teams, like mobile, server, banking, and these are engineers really spending 30% of their time making AI work for their specific repos. They're setting up AI code reviews, configuring agents to basically auto fix CI failures. They're building rules within each team's repo so that it could follow like certain code standards. So some examples are like one mobile team used AI to like remove large amounts of dead code with stable defect rates. Another team set up overnight CI/CD auto fixing. Another team automated test migrations at scale. Another one is using like support message and they're turning it into like tickets with all the links and labels needed. So people are getting to see, oh shoot, like this is not just some fun thing where Rizel says like build a fun game with Goose. Like we can actually use this for our day-to-day work. And when AI ends up solving real problems, engineers stop saying, should I use this? And they start saying, wait, how should I use this? And that's really the shift that you want. Let's talk about building judgment, right? You want to be flexible about the tools that people use. I think one thing that was a bit of tension at first is everyone felt, oh, they're telling you only use Goose. No, we're not. You can use Cursor. You can use Claude Code. You can use AMP. So we made it, we didn't make it a specific tool because we want people to understand that whatever tool that you like, that um should get the job done, right? Like use the tool that works for you. If you like JavaScript, use that. If you use Python, use that. If you like GitHub Actions or Jenkins, use that. And our goal right now is not just AI adoption, but more of AI literacy over like this particular tool loyalty. That's where our head is at. And like the skills really just transfer across. Like you learn how to use Cursor, you bring those same skills over to leveraging Claude Code. Oh, this is my favorite one. Practice 5 is setting an example. So one day, Jack Dorsey, our CEO, hopped on a Google Meets and he told people within the company, you can join this. I'm about to use Goose Live. And he picked up some real tickets and he solved some real problems. Everybody was in awe. They were like, I never even thought of how to use it this way. And it really like opened their eyes. So my team kind of follows suit. Now we do live streams showing how we're using AI tools every day. Like maybe we're using it to make our docs AI native, or we're building different automations to help our team a little bit. And I think I've seen a clear difference in how people respond when leadership is in the weeds building with them versus just pushing a tool that they've never touched. I think that's even like why DevRel was created, because you don't want people that are just telling you, like marketers, oh, you should use this. You want people that are like you and know the struggles that you're going through. It builds a sense of trust and empathy, and it gives realistic expectations of what AI can and can't do. And last but not least, our practice 6 is right-sized best practices. You want to establish best practices and right-size them, right? So we give people different frameworks. We have RPI, which is research, plan, and implement. This is a structural workflow for how AI agents should tackle complex code bases. So we want them to like tell the agent to research first, then make a plan, then implement. Whereas many times people just jump into making their AI agents implement things. It really forces like deliberation and prevents like any like crazy things happening. We've worked with agents. They have their own mind sometimes. Um, and we use AI rules or like I'm talking about cursor rules, Goose hints. Copilot has its own type of rules to help um, the AI agent know the coding standards within a specific code base, and you basically get the better quality out of them. And then the other thing that we do is we make sure that people understand, like in our code review standards, you own what you merge, regardless of who wrote it or what wrote it, right? Um, but we know that not every project needs that same level of rigor. So we let people know like maybe this type of project needs this level of rigor. The key to all of it though is really intentionality. You need to know why you're choosing that particular approach, and that's like a certain level of discernment. So here's what I want you to take away from my long ramble, is that AI adoption isn't something that you just mandate. It's something that you model, where we saw Jack Dorsey literally hopping on, showing us how to use Goose. And we were all like, oh, I can't believe it. I never thought to use it that way. Um, it's also something that you support and make worth doing. Compliance ends up producing resistance and recklessness, whereas culture really produces discernment. We've helped thousands of engineers at Block adopt AI this way. In fact, I just want to say the entire company has really adopted Goose. Um, Even executive assistants, HR folk, product managers, designers, they're all using Goose. They're all building with Goose because we've set engineers up in such a good way. And people saw how excited the engineers were. They saw how excited open source users were. And they're like, I want to use it too. Also, we've gotten a lot of downloads and usage. And built this great community around Goose, like outside of our actual company. And it's not just to support these toy projects. People are building real projects with our AI tools, and we're building real tools with AI. We even built AI. We even built Goose with AI tools, whether it's Goose as well, or Cursor, or Claude Code. And I'll end with saying, like, AI isn't really going anywhere. The question is whether your team will use it well. With the right culture, I believe that they can.